I'm here today with the General Manager of the Texas Windstorm Insurance Association, better known as TWIA, General Manager John Polak. John, thanks for being a part of our podcast today. You've been very fortunate. The fact that running TWIA and the fact that you've not had a hurricane in the past 9 years. A lot of people would like to know how you've been able to do that.
Well, I'd like to be able to take credit for that, Mark, but obviously, as you've indicated, we've been fortunate. Although we can't control the weather, what we do focus on is being prepared for it.
Hurricane Ike, our last hurricane, the costliest storm in Texas history, September 13th, 2008, a $12 billion storm. It hit TWIA very hard in many respects. I assume TWIA has undergone a few changes since then.
That's clearly an understatement. We have completely transformed the entire organization and its culture. We have a completely different management team than the one that was in place in 2008. We have a great deal more automation that we've invested in, both in claims and operations. And probably more importantly, we have done an awful lot to make sure that we're not in the same position. To give you some statistics, at the time that Hurricane Ike hit, we only had 5 full-time employees in the claims department. Today we have slightly over 50. We only had, at the height of Ike, we were struggling actually to get a little more than 1,000 independent adjusters out there to visit with the policyholders and adjust their claims. Today we have over 3,000 under contract. So when we add that in, plus all of the automation, as a result, our transactional turnaround time is far superior to what it's been.
A lot of people have wondered, how will TWIA be able to handle the next hurricane, the next storm? And from what I've heard in the field, you've done a pretty good job. You had some hailstorms, at least one catastrophic hailstorm that rated up there as in volume of claims as bad as Hurricane Rita. And from talking to agents, I'm told that TWIA did a very good job in handling all of those claims.
I think that's true. We've spent an awful lot of time developing metrics so that we can measure exactly how we perform, and based upon that, we can determine how we can get even better. As an example, we have been monitoring what we call our cycle time. Our cycle time is measured by the time it takes from the time we receive the first notice of loss until we can actually deliver the check to the policyholder. And over the last couple of years, we've been averaging well under 10 days.
You got to be proud of that.
We are very proud of that.
You've got a new program where companies have been coming in, looking at your TWIA policies, and it's a takeout program, and it's been pretty successful. You'd like to explain a little bit about this program and how it works?
Certainly. Our mission has always been providing essential property products and services to eligible Texas properties along the coast. We can do it in 2 ways. Historically, since 1971, we've been the carrier of last resort, and we've actually issued those policies. As part of the depopulation program, another way of fulfilling the same mission is to provide introductions to carriers in the voluntary market who are willing to write this on a voluntary basis. Again, providing some data to put this in perspective, we had approximately 250,000 policies. As a result of our depopulation effort over the last 12 months, those carriers identified slightly over 100,000 of those policies that they were willing to make voluntary offers to. After going through the process where policyholders determined whether they wanted to participate in the program, and after consultation with their agents, we ended up successfully transferring slightly more than 11,000 policies. That represents about a 4.5% percentage of all those of our total book, and about a take-up rate of roughly 10 or 11%. So we look at it as a very successful program.
4 companies were involved, correct?
That is correct.
We haven't seen any drop in number of claims, policies in TWIA forever, have we? It's always been...
Well, I can't say forever. I haven't been around that long. But clearly in recent history, it's the last year or two, that it's a combination of the market has changed a little bit, and I think that the the fact that we've had a very successful and well-publicized takeout program has resulted in a drop of about 10% of our policy count overall, a little less than that.
Do you see more companies coming in and participating in this program?
Yeah, I do, Mark. Clearly, initially, the companies that were most interested were those that had some experience with other plans, notably Florida and Louisiana. It's a little different, and I think they found that out too. The statutes impacting us versus the statutes impacting, say, Florida citizens and Louisiana citizens are very different. Nonetheless, I think they thought it was successful. We do know there were other carriers that initially expressed some interest and were kind of sitting on the sidelines because they wanted to see how this would work. And I think based on the success overall, I would not be at all be surprised to see additional carriers participating in this next round.
Let's take a look at where we are with TWIA right now as far as number of policies that you have, the Catastrophe Reserve Trust Fund, where is it right now? So financially and just looking at the big picture, how are you in regards to preparing for the next hurricane?
Well, from the financial situation, we've continued to improve the financial situation every year ever since 2011. Today, we are covered for what is known as a 1 in 125-year event. Senate Bill 900 required we hit a minimum of 1 in 100, which we actually did prior to the legislation, and the board has improved upon that. As you mentioned before, the CRTF, Catastrophe Reserve Trust Fund, is essentially the equivalent of our surplus, and that's at almost $800 million today, which is the most that it's been since it was established. So we're very, very comfortable the fact that we now have $4.9 billion worth of total funding, which is almost double what Hurricane Ike cost us.
It sounds like you're ready.
We are as ready as we can be, I think.
John Polak, General Manager of the Texas Windstorm Insurance Association.